Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 253 of the Nope Coach podcast, What to Do When You're Circling Burnout. I'm your host, Suzanne Kohlberg. We're about halfway through the summer holidays here at the time of recording this, and my kids are 8 and 10, and I just jokingly said to my husband yesterday, school goes back tomorrow, right? And he's like, well, we could just drop them off there and see what happens. We were joking. Please do not panic. Sometimes we circle burnout for all sorts of reasons. Everyone home and the different routine, the long school holidays, overworking, overstressing. Like, I don't need to go into it. Whatever your particular reason is or your flavor of burnout, what to do when you know it's approaching. First things first, take the pressure down. We are all going to die with an unfinished to-do list. This is not a hot take. Yet, as we get closer to burnout, for many of us, we can get really frenzied about getting every single thing done. In the last couple of days, I had this moment. I'm sure other mums can appreciate it. And even if you're not a mum, the moment where everything is clean, like your laundry basket is empty. And I was literally just taking a moment to appreciate everything was folded, everything was put away, the basket was empty. And then next minute, Casimir, my 8-year-old, covered in sand from head to foot. So his entire outfit, shirt, undies, pants, socks, shoes, and then all over the carpet. And then he needed to shower. And I'm just like, and in moments like this, sometimes it doesn't bother you at all. But when you're approaching burnout, this can literally be the sandy shirt that broke the mama's back. And a way to, what to do is to find ways to be less frustrated and more entertained. So as I'm sitting there looking at the pile of sand and wondering, if I just collected all this and started a thing in my backyard, how long until we'd have a home sand pit? And then there was a moment with my daughter, we went shopping and I asked her to hold the shopping bag, and then we were going past Cha Time, which does it's like a share tea, bubble tea type place. And she was like, can I get a bubble tea? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I ordered that and we sat down in the food court, and then we get home and I was like, oh, so where's the bag? And she gives me this blank look. And I'm like, the bag with the groceries to make dinner. And she's like, I left it in the food court. I'm not proud of my response and how I handled that situation. And I think for many of us, mum guilt, just guilt in general, is a thing. But we all do things and say things that we're not proud of. None of us is perfect. What we can do is apologize and, see how we can approach it better next time. And to realize that toast for dinner never killed anyone. Because at that stage, it was hot, it was humid. I was like, I'm not going back to the shops again. Let's just have toast for dinner and then we can sort it out again tomorrow. So, when you're circling burnout, it's not the time to double down on doing everything right. It's not the time to guilt and shame yourself or to get perfectionistic. It's the time to, allow yourself to see the funny side of things, because the less frustrated I am, the more entertained I am. There's not the sandy shirt that broke the mama's back or the shopping bag that broke the mama's back. It's like, yeah, this stuff happens and it's suboptimal. Moving on. Like the Loki TV show, there's been so many GIFs, memes, jokes where it's like, sad, so sad. Anyway, it's like I was enjoying this moment of having everything clean and now I have a giant mess. Sad, so sad. Anyway, though I would be remiss if I didn't say, if you're unable to see the light-hearted side of it, if you really are mired in the frustration and you're going further and further down as you circle to burnout, know when is the time to get help and who to get help from. There are so many resources, and I really encourage you to have them looked up, save them on your desktop, save them on your phone, depending where you are in the world. I know in Australia we have Lifeline, we have Beyond Blue, we have so many numbers that you can call, and I am not ashamed to say that I have them saved in my phone so that I know that if the time that, you know, the lighthearted, the suboptimal, the jovialness goes away and I really am struggling, that there are places to call in need. And I encourage you to have that ready. You may never use it, and that's okay. But when things are really hard and really dark, then even knowing where to reach out to seems so hard. Like, I don't know about you, but in times where everything's hard, I can't even do the basics of just Googling it. So having the things ready and prepared so that if you need them, you know where to reach out to. The advantage of these numbers is a lot of them are 24/7. So if you're ruminating at 2 a.m. or if you've lost it at your kids and you're crying in the car, then you can call for the support in the moment and know that you are not alone. There is nothing wrong with you. We all have times where it feels insurmountable, and having that calm, caring voice on the other end to talk us through it is just paramount. So, you know, there is a light-hearted aspect of this episode. As I said, less frustrated, more entertained. We're all going to die with a ridiculously long to-do list. That is not a hot take. But there are times where, you know, seeing the light heart of it isn't possible and everything is feeling dark and heavy. And in those times, knowing that there is help available and having that help at the ready, like at the touch of your fingertips. You don't need to think about it or look it up or work out which one should I call, or I don't know. And I don't know, but I imagine if you called the wrong one, they would be able to refer you to or transfer you through to another line. I have worked in a call center before, not any of the mental health support ones, but in other call centers, and we've transferred people to other lines or been able to recommend other resources. But if you look through each of them and read the descriptions of, you know, Lifeline, Beyond Blue, etc., then you can know, you know, which would be available when, and even discussing these resources like with your children. There's Kids Helpline that I've spoke to my kids about. Like, there is never any shame in asking for help. Asking for help is often the hardest thing, and knowing where to go for help. Because, as I said, when it is really dark, sometimes you don't have the faculties that you have normally to be able to know, you know, where to go and what to do. And, you know, we all have these moments. So taking the pressure down, realizing that nobody is perfect. We all say things, we all do things that later we feel regretful or shameful about. And, you know, we can discuss that, and beating ourselves up. It's kind of like, I can't remember the quote, but I remember hearing one about pain and suffering. So, you know, the event, the instigating event is painful, but then the suffering is how you beat yourself up for it again and again and again afterwards and keep reliving it, reliving it, reliving it. But, you know, oftentimes people, you know, are a lot more forgiving than we give them credit for and don't even remember. I'm sure you've been on the receiving end. I have. Someone's come to me and made an apology many years later, and I honestly don't remember what they're apologizing for. They've held on to that for years, maybe sometimes even decades. And I remember once, and I said to the person, "Are you sure it was me?" Because I honestly, it was a blip on the radar for me and I didn't recall it. So often this beating ourselves up and shaming ourselves and giving ourselves and making, you know, reliving this and re-traumatizing ourselves, to the person, it may not have even been on their radar. So when you're circling burnout, take the pressure down, you know, see if you can label that was suboptimal. Like, you know, that wasn't great, not I'm not great. That was suboptimal. See how you can be less frustrated and more entertained. And then if it is beyond that and you can't see the lighter side of it, what support can you reach out for to get for yourself in that moment? Thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you on the next one. Well, you'll see me or hear me, because I always say see and hear, but I don't actually see you unless you comment. I do appreciate those of you on YouTube leaving comments, liking the videos, sharing them. If you're on Apple or Spotify, or you're listening, you can send me a message, info@suzannekohlberg.com. What did you take away from the episode? I always love reading them. Thanks for this. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.